Saturday the 19th of December 2020, I finally made it back to the East Dunes after about 3 weeks after my aborted attempt to do a marathon all the way up the coast here. So I think I'm recovering okay, and the knees getting more stable by the day. I've just decided to do a simple 10k loop, take it nice and easy today, just to get out really. So we're in another so-called lockdown in the Netherlands. That started just over a week ago again, so most shops are closed except for those who provide food and essentials. Infection rate has absolutely gone through the roof, so it's probably doubled since last I reported it. It's getting up to 70 per 100,000 and higher. It seemed to be, I mean, probably one of the main factors was Sinterklaas Day, so the days of getting together as a family and having a meal, exchanging some, giving simple presents and reading poems to each other, and you saw the big surge. But really, it's, I can't remember, it's winter, it's cold weather, we spend more time indoors, not always separated, and it's just ripe for corona type virus infections, particularly with the rising and falling temperatures as well. That kind of encourages you to go out and go shopping. Next minute it's cold and makes you feel miserable. Your immune system goes on a low, then you go out again and mix. So we'll see what happens over the Christmas and New Year periods. UK is kind of half and half depending on where you are, though. The majority of the country is now in what they call Tier 3, or the equivalents in Wales and Scotland, Tier 4s. Germany also is in a lockdown situation, and Germany thinking was that they got a lot of things right where a lot of European countries hadn't. But it just shows you this virus comes back to bite you, and bite you hard. So Christmas markets, sometimes called German markets, not only got cancelled in Germany, but that spread throughout the whole of Europe. There was one in Nottingham in the UK recently. It was so overly popular because it was an outdoor market, therefore people could get in there, because a lot of the shops have been closed for so long. They had to shut the gates, so there's too many people, and they just decided to cancel it there and then. I think it normally would run for at least a couple of weeks. It survived one day, so it just shows you we're desperate to get out and do things, maybe do a bit of present shopping, but it's a horrible recipe for the coronavirus to take out. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy my run. It's a bit rainy, so I've kept my Mac on. It's about 8 or 9 degrees Celsius, not too bad, but there's a bit of a breeze, or a bit more than a breeze, coming from the southwest, which at the moment is pushing me along. I'm warming up too much, but as I turn around the loop, that's going to be in my face, so I'm going to probably feel a lot cooler then. Anyway, it's nice to be out. So I'm just about 4k in, and coming into the Meijendel area. There's a few people about walking today. Saw a couple of runners at the entrance, but I haven't, to the dunes, but I haven't seen anybody recently. So it's still raining, but it's not cold, so it's fine for running actually. A little bit of a headwind now, which you might be able to hear. So what I've been doing since there's a runner, there is another one. So what I've been doing since recovering from, or starting to recover from my knee injury, is to do 3 5Ks a week, and give myself a day rest in between each one, and then give myself a 2-day rest once a week as well. So I'll do this 10K today, and then give myself 2 days rest before running again on Tuesday. But so far so good. I think, to be honest, I'm suffering more from a little bit of muscle tiredness, probably because of the prolonged period. I mean, it was more than 6 weeks in the end that I wasn't very mobile at all, and my right knee eventually swelled to such an extent that I haven't had for quite some time, that I really couldn't walk on it as well, so it got very unstable, and then I think one twist too many, and it reacted badly. So anyway, so far so good. I'm hoping to have a good winter's running, and feel bright for the spring. Well, I do quite like the winter. It can be quiet, but that's quite nice. It's quite therapeutic in a way. And the very first event I ever raced in was the Hague half marathon, and that's normally held in March. They did hold it this year. It was just before all the lockdowns, so it dodged that. So next year's one that they've already announced will not be until September. So I think there's a big anticipation that we're going to get the infections down during the summer, either due to the natural consequences of being able to get out more and not breathe each other's stale air, but also maybe, hopefully, the vaccine programs will start kicking in. So the vaccine programs at the moment, the state of play, as I understand it, is that we've had 3 that came out the gate quite early. There's actually about 6, and in total about 11 that I think are viably considered worldwide. The first one was the Pfizer BioNTech, which is the one that's being administered now. So it started in the UK a couple of weeks ago. The US has just started, and Europe should start around about the 26th or 27th, so immediately after Christmas Day. Particularly in France and Germany. The Netherlands have been criticised because they're not implementing till the 8th of January, but I think the thinking there is they want to really get the programme resourced properly, and for it not to kind of start out as a bit of a token effort and to be a full-on programme. So it's still raining, still coming through the woods, just about to come out into the open, more open dune areas towards the start. Go around, I think it's a UN base there, a NATO base rather, I think, one or the other. There's a firing range. I haven't heard any shots so far, so maybe that's closed at the moment. The rain has actually intensified a bit. I was expecting it to get a bit dry this afternoon. It hasn't done that. I'm warm enough anyway, in fact a little over warm. So 6.5k in, another 3.5 to go. Just taking it easy, as I said before, and just to get some kilometres in my leg and to be outside really. So there's the main road going into the tunnel. I can hear the hockey pitches and football pitches are alive on the other side. Now, competitive sport at the moment is banned, apart from if you're in one of the elite professional divisions. But if you're of school age, 18 or younger, I think, or was it 16, 18 or younger, let's say, then you can still participate in competitive sport. So it's good that people's education and well-being when you're young is not getting too massively affected. It of course has been this year. So the UK government has just announced, right on the last day of term, or the day before breaking up for the holidays, that they're going to bring in mass testing to schools. So basically pupils will go to school, get tested, get a result. If they're negative, they're allowed into school. If they're positive, go home for isolation. At the firing range now. This is the only little bit of tarmac that I had to venture onto today. And there's a trail just the other side of this roundabout. Obviously doing some big manufacture building here at the moment. And so I've got about 2 kilometres now to get back to the start.